We are live. Paul, that was a quick trip to the bathroom. You did pretty good there.
It was an outfit change because
Oh.
I realized I had my Blacksburg boxing and fitness tank top on and I had the guns out, and John gets jealous when he sees real man arms. So I just had
Absolutely.
Hey, I was enjoying the arms. I like the gun show. But everybody, welcome. Yeah. But speaking of the gun show, John, welcome. I am glad you are here.
What's going on, fellas? Good to be here, man. Thanks for the invite. Glad to see you
Yeah.
guys. It's been a while.
So
Yeah.
I'm gonna share something real quick. Everybody has their favorite Hokies, right? Jeremy, you got your favorite Hokie?
Yeah, it's Tyrod.
It's
I love you,
Tyrod.
John. It's Tyrod.
I'm going to tell you right now, my favorite
I understand.
Hokie,
I understand.
my favorite Hokie all time is this man right here.
Oh man,
Big John.
thank you. That means a lot. That means a lot to me, man.
As a former offensive lineman myself who was very undersized and had no business playing offensive tackle, to see what you did and to see you do your thing out there, man, I just love.
I
Much
appreciate
love
that,
for you.
man. Appreciate that. So you know about
Yes.
the O-line grind. So
Mhm.
Tyrod and them get all the flashy, all the love and everything. But
Yeah.
I appreciate that, Paul.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I played
Absolutely.
O-line as well, and it's a lot of people don't realize is that unit has to be the most cohesive unit on the field. The
Absolutely.
level of meshing you have to do, the communication, everything else. People really don't realize what goes into being on the offensive line.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, definitely, man. No, nobody really knows unless you play the position. That's high school,
Yeah.
pro, college. You don't understand.
No,
Yeah,
that's for
And
sure.
not even close. How are you feeling about how our offense is looking, especially the OL? Because that with everyone right now is, that's what we're looking at. Because, like you said, the skill positions, we're looking pretty good.
Did we go from something simple that everyone could grasp and use it well to something too complex, or like, what did you see? What happened there?
Yeah, man. I definitely think it was just a new system, new players. I mean, I'm assuming you're talking about Fuentes last year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got to think about the talent we have on the offensive line, man. 3 of the 5, I think, want to say got drafted to the NFL.
Yeah.
Well, Brock is in the NFL now. I don't know if he got drafted,
Yeah.
but we're talking about Darisaw. We're talking about Lacitas. We're talking about Brock. Those guys had a lot of playing experience, man. It looks like
Yeah.
that they knew what they were doing. They were comfortable in their positions. So, you got to take that with a grain of salt when you got those guys leaving. You got a whole new offensive line coming in.
Yeah.
I want to say the only one that's from the offensive line is Caden Moore.
Right.
He's a guy that I do expect him to have a wonderful year this year. Not a lot of guys talking about him. Kind of had that. I wouldn't call it a sophomore slump because I think he's been playing okay. But I'm expecting him to have a good year, man. He took that role. He's a senior now. Should be a leader. He's at center now. It's a different position.
Yeah.
So I am looking for big things from him this year. But with that being said, man, it's just you got like 4 new guys on the line. It's going to be different. It's going to be a lot different. But this is the same group that we had last year, so we'll see,
Right.
man. We'll see.
How much coaching goes in? And if you all out there are watching today and you don't like offensive line talk, you've got the wrong show, because I'm going to deep dive here with John, because we never got to do this before. So how much coaching goes into the offensive line, and how much of it is see guy, block guy?
I would say it's a lot. It's different. I would different in high school. Kind of high school was more of see guy, block guy type of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But in college, you're playing totally different speed on the other side of the ball. Like
Right.
you got defensive end. Like Barno a couple years ago ran a 4.3 in the combine. Like that's just unheard of, man. You got these freaks at defensive end, at D tackle. You kind of got to have some more technique. So it's a lot. It's
Right.
a lot of coaching, I would say.
Okay.
There are a lot of coaches out there that's known for more of teaching the playbook than teaching fundamentals. That's because they didn't play the position,
Right.
I will say, I had 3 offensive line coaches: Coach Grimes, Searles, and Vice. They've all played the position. Vice played tight end, but he's still by the offensive line. So I would say a lot of that goes into coaching, and if you played the position and if you know the position at a high level, I feel like you'll be able to translate better to the players.
I threw a lot of shade over the years at Fuente and the staff Maybe some of it was rightly so, maybe not. But the one dude I was always like, this cat knows what the hell he's doing. He can recruit and he can coach, was Vance Vice.
Absolutely.
Is he the best offensive line coach you've ever played under?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna say Grimes because he trusted me as a freshman, man.
Okay,
you know, that's kind of top tier right there. I had all three of them are great though. You know, I loved all three of them. I still talk to Cyril's Vice to this day. I kind of lost touch with Grimes, but I would say he's probably the best just because the way he trusted me and you know the best five played in his book. Okay. And then Vice was like that too. You know, we all had experience, so he kind of came into a room full of experience. But when Grimes came in, man, I would say I learned a lot from him that year.
All right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Jeremy, are you with
Were
us
you
here?
always, like through high school, everything else, were you always tackle? Did you play any guard?
Yep. Always tackle, man. Always tackle.
Yeah.
I will tell you, Sears put me in guard for a Georgia Tech game, and I had to pull. And it was I'm not the pulling guy. I'll tell you that, man. Because you know, you got to pull tight and you get lost in that hole a little bit. But yeah. So I would say tackle is always my strong suit, playing on the edge and having to block those 4 or 5 type of guys.
I'll tell you this though, as somebody that played guard, there's no better feeling than you sneaking through that hole and some dude just kind of standing there.
Absolutely.
And you blow him up from the side, kind of make him into like a pretzel. Yeah.
Yep, for sure, man, for sure. It's definitely different than being on the outside, but yeah, always a tackle.
Man, I hate when they do like a quick pitch or something and pull you around where you had to track down one of those fast little ass cornerbacks or something and block them. I was terrible at that. We never ran that with me. It was always over to my friend Mo's side. They'd send it over to Mo's side because he was excellent on it. It was like a heat-seeking missile. Me, I'd just run over. I'm like, where are these people at? I'm used to like these large targets in front of me.
Right. Yeah, man. It's the worst when they cut under you, man. That's the worst. You open space trying to catch them. So, yeah, it's a different ball game there.
Well, hopefully we do this. Did you all see the AP rankings that came out?
I did not. Where they got us?
We are looking at 27th in the AP poll.
Okay.
7th to receive votes. I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, that's not terrible. Yeah.
No, it's not terrible. It's one of those things where, you know, there's a lot of poll inertia to deal with, but really with the way we're set up, we're in the ACC. What the fuck does the AP rankings mean? We just got to win. Right. We win, then that's all that matters.
Absolutely, man.
I'm trying to find this now. I want to pull this up.
Yeah, we were second to Louisville was right ahead of us.
Okay. Well, and ultimately, I mean, you look at the preseason polls, right? And I'm gonna jump out of here. You look at the preseason polls, right? Yes, Marnie, I caught that too. Jeremy knows a lot about poll inertia. You look at preseason polls, right? And go back. So look at, you know, even the last few years. Look at the preseason poll, and then look at what like the final 3 weeks look like. Everything right now is speculation, right? Like, I mean, you know, they have Michigan as the defending national champions ranked 9th right now. You know, they have Texas like 3rd or something like that. Texas hasn't done anything relevant since I was a child. So it's, you know, the preseason.
I mean, they were good last year. Texas should be pretty good.
I mean,
yeah, I feel like they should be pretty good, but being number 4, that's pretty high. You know, come on.
Yeah. But I mean,
at least
these are preseason polls. You got to make these fan bases happy. These are the fan bases that get excited and bring in a lot of viewers. You know, there for a while, I mean, we were ranked way higher than we should have been a lot of preseason polls. And that's just how it was. And we were okay with that. And, you know, some people got a little bit better of a bump than we did, like some of the more blue chip programs or whatever, the fucking Michigans of the world, Paul.
Come on.
You know, they get that, but yeah, it is what it is. I understand it. We also have a large fan base, and, you know, us getting back on track and really nailing things and getting to where we should be, we're also going to enjoy a little bit of that here in the future. And we did the preseason show last night, the Boundary Corner preseason show. I got on there and got drunk and, you know, cursed a lot. And the comments were hilarious. It's like they never watched any of the preseason shows beforehand. I'm probably going to get another postcard in the mail telling me not to sponsor the podcast that I was on cursing. I'm going to frame that letter and hang it up.
I'll say this about the preseason polls, and John, you can probably talk about this too. I would rather be ranked low and be able to have that chip on the shoulder or that post on the bulletin board that says they don't believe in us. Once again, they don't believe in us. Let's go and prove these sons of bitches wrong. Like, to me, like, give me that all day.
Right. Let me tell you a quick story about that. Actually, I know you guys didn't like Fuente, but my year we were great.
Yes, you were.
Yeah.
So after the ACC media day, he came back to us, and he had a good point, man. He's like, everybody was nice to me, everybody was friendly, everybody loved talking to me. When they're nice to you, that means you're losing too much. And I totally agree, man. I totally agree. So like you said, Paul, I'm with you, man. That we have to prove it. It doesn't matter what these preseason polls say. Yeah. We have to go out there and show them. And it starts with the first game, man. Vanderbilt, that's a big test. SEC game at their place. That's going to tell you everything we need to know about this team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think Vanderbilt, the big one that was pointed out last night that I agree with, I think Syracuse is going to be a huge test for us. I think if we make it and we come out and we play against a really physical Syracuse team and we do well, if we can follow that up and hit Miami while they're in stride, and Miami, like early in the season, they can be a really good team. If we're the team that year that kind of knocks them back down off that little notch and sends them the wheels spinning off in different directions and really derails their season, if we're that team and we roll in and we do that to Miami, I'm going to declare us back because we will be legit.
Yeah,
I think that is going to be really telling, even more than Syracuse. If we can be the team that knocks Miami off, if Miami's coming out hot and all their skill players are hitting the way that they should, they've got a lot of talent down there. And if they're playing well and we can do that, I think that we are back. I think we're there again. I think we could make a run like 2016.
Absolutely. What would have really, help me think that we're back is we go down there and do what we're supposed to do versus Marshall, versus ODU, versus Rutgers. Those are three teams that we should beat. You know what I mean? Like, but every time we get into this position, the teams we should beat, we don't beat. So that'll be great if we're 4-0 going to Miami, man. That'll have me so hyped.
All right. So this is a question that everybody, I'm sure, in Hokie Nation wants to ask, and I get to ask it. John, why does that happen? What the hell happens at Virginia Tech that every year some crippled children's hospital of Southwest Virginia junior college comes into Blacksburg and we end up losing a game by like a half a field goal or some crap like that? Why, John? Why does that keep happening?
I can't explain it, man. I can't explain it. I'm gonna be honest. We had one when I was there. We beat Ohio State, then we lost to ECU. Like that just shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen, man. Ohio State won the championship that year, but I will say it has to do with a lot of thinking we're going to beat them going into the game. I would say. I wasn't there with JMU, but I think we got a little JMU curse there. I will say that, man. It's like a team we're supposed to beat. That has to wake us up for some reason. I'm not sure. Nobody has the answer to that. But I'm hoping this team can turn that around, man, and not have that curse. Like we kind of did in 2016, beat the heck out of Liberty, and then we go on to lose to Tennessee. But one of those losses early in the season, that's why I don't panic when we lose early in the season, because it's like, hey, that's a wake-up call for us. We know what it feels like. Let's go out there and go get a win. You know what I mean? So, unfortunately, that's just our history, man. I mean, hopefully we can change that and get that fixed. But I like to call it the JMU curse.
We just can't lose to the Central Virginia nunnery. That's where it gets me. Like, I mean, if Vanderbilt somehow beats Virginia Tech, they're an SEC program. They're not a great SEC program, but I can swallow that pill. Speaking of which, Blacksburg on the Rocks, unofficially sponsored by our friends at Blue Chew. If you're having a hard time getting it up, Blue Chew can help.
All right.
But like those games, it's like, okay, I don't want to lose. Ohio State, right? You don't want to lose that game. But if you do, you can say, okay, this is a contender for a national championship, or this is an SEC school. It's when we lose to ODU. It's when we lose to Liberty. It's when we lose to Marshall. It's, and it's just like, what in the F is happening here?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree, man. That definitely shouldn't happen. Because you gotta think about it. I don't care what people say. People at ODU, the players at ODU, that's their Super Bowl, man.
Oh, for sure.
They want to beat Virginia Tech. That's the only thing they're looking at this year. Marshall, even teams like Marshall, some of those guys, unfortunately, did get offered by Virginia Tech or whatever. So they're pissed off. They're ready to play.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we don't have that same mindset. We think that we're Virginia Tech. We're supposed to go in there and do it. But yes, we are. But we just got to do it. We got to prove ourselves to be that dominant. So that's a question everybody's wants. Why does it happen? Nobody knows, man. We will never know.
And sometimes it's better to have that wake up call. I'd rather have it in early in the season against a team that don't really matter than go in and have a giant heartbreaker like in 2007 against fucking Boston College. The Matt Ryan game, that'll forever rip my heart out of my chest.
You named your daughter after him. I don't understand that.
I'm going to kill you one day, Paul. I'm going to actually murder you. You're going to wind up, they're going to find your body, and they're going to be like, oh, that was Jeremy, 100%. And because I'm saying it now, they're actually going to come question me.
They probably will. It's either going to be you or Bridget, one or the other. I'm regularly poking that bear.
What home game are you all looking forward to the most?
I'm going to say Clemson, man.
Yeah.
That game is going to be insane. Unfortunately, I have to go to a wedding, and I won't be in attendance. Thank Charlie Meyer for that. He played at Tech. Got to go to this wedding.
You got married during football season?
Man,
yeah, we need
to have
a whole show. We need to have a whole show dedicated to that shit, Jeremy.
Oh my God.
That shit needs to end.
Yes, absolutely.
Emily's brother got married during football season, and there are pictures of me in the conga line watching us play against Miami on my phone because I'm, trying to be involved. But I tell everyone, don't schedule your fucking wedding during football season. I'm not going to be present.
Right. But I mean, sometimes it's not up to the guys, so I will say that, But yeah. So apparently, I'll be unfortunately, I'll be at a wedding that weekend, but. I'm excited to see it, man. That atmosphere is going to be insane. I think we played it back in 2017, and I went to that game actually, and it was crazy.
Yeah.
So
I hate Clemson. Everyone knows I hate Clemson because not just because I hate their program and I hate their head coach and I hate the way their head coach does everything. I think he's a charlatan that uses pseudo religion to fool people into doing whatever, and really he's laundering a bunch of money through a church. I don't like them for a lot of reasons, but the main reason really is whenever they came to town and beat us in our own house, and it felt like that's when everything shifted.
Yeah.
We were the powerhouse in the ACC until that happened, and it's like everything shifted ever since then. And I think this season may be our opportunity to take a swap at them, knock them down a few pegs, and reassert ourselves because we're coming up. And Dabo, he's not adapting to the times. I really think they're looking at a significant fall off coming up. Where Pry, I think he's doing a great job. He's hitting the portal right. I think he is staying on top of everything. I think this is going to be the proof of concept season that we need and where we can show out and really start taking hits. So that's definitely the game I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah, I agree, man. I'm from South Carolina, so I grew up in every classroom I've ever been in has been Clemson stuff. It's Clemson stuff everywhere. Clemson this, Clemson that. So I'm with you. I had a couple guys that I played high school ball with that actually played at Clemson, and I was getting recruited by them, never offered me. So I'm on the hate train with you there, Jeremy. I'm with you.
Excellent.
So,
Yes,
John, you had an interesting route to Virginia Tech.
I did.
You were originally committed to East Carolina, then ended up going to Fort Union for a year, and then ended up at Virginia Tech. Take us through that. How did that kind of play out?
Yeah, so I was sent to Fort Union by East Carolina. I actually was going there. I was going to do 4 months there, and then supposed to be there in January. So luckily, East Carolina, Fort Union had a football program, and Coach Schumann, I don't know if Mark Schumann's dad, Ryan Schumann, John Schumann, he's there, and he has some ties with other schools, and he's like, hey, man, look, if you come here, you have an opportunity to get more offers, more exposure, because I kind of started out late, too. I didn't start till my junior year of high school. So, because, South Carolina football is pretty big. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but we don't play both sides of the ball. We have enough players on each offense, defense. Kind of ran like a college a little bit. So there was guys in front of me that actually went to East Carolina. So I didn't get my opportunity to play till junior year. So I was sent to Fort Union, and then I did Fort Union, did 4 months of Fort Union, balled out. And I pretty much got every offer out the ACC except for Florida State and Clemson. That was the only two offers that I didn't get out of Fort Union. And then what made me decide to go to Virginia Tech was there's two things. One thing was I got the opportunity to play early because both tackles were leaving, right and left. So I was going to compete for a spot. And then the second thing, man, was Coach Beamer, Coach Shane Beamer, and Coach Frank Beamer came to Fort Union. And we met. They talked to us, just telling me all about the program. And then they did not tell me they were doing this. They flew to South Carolina to go see my parents. And I was like, wow. Like, I haven't had a coach do that. And my parents called me and were like, hey, man, Coach Beamer just left my house. I'm like, he was here earlier, So that meant a lot to me, man. That means they really care and they really wanted me. So after that, I was like, yeah, I'm sold, man. Let's do it, man. And I would say, Shane Beamer recruited me. He recruited the heck out of me. He's a great recruiter, great guy. Still kind of keep up with him to this day. But that's how I ended up at Virginia Tech, man.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That's awesome. And that goes to show you, like, a lot of the things behind the scenes, the intangibles, how you present yourself and your kind of your vibe, your situation, the fact that we're a family, how you do that really does speak to a lot of players on that level. Whenever you've got a list and it's like, where am I deciding? You're going to go somewhere that you feel comfortable.
Right.
And
absolutely.
I think Frank always did a really good job with that because he's like everybody's dad in a lot of ways. I mean, he's just awesome. And
I think Pry's in that direction too, man. Like,
yes.
From what I've heard, Pry's doing the same thing, man. Doing the same type of things. Making sure the family is first. Making sure your family know you're good with Coach Pry. And I love seeing that.
So John, let me ask you this. Why did you end up going to Fort Union? Like, usually guys go because they need to develop somewhere a little bit more. What was kind of your target when you went to play at Fort Union for that extra year?
So I was missing a couple classes to get into ECU. And East Carolina sent me there to go get those classes. And so I didn't clear the clearinghouse. So I'm sure they felt the type of way of me just, them sending me there and then I'm leaving. But it is what it is, man. Coaches leave. And that following year, the offensive line coach actually went to another school. So it worked out.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
What was your favorite game ever? Just ever. Straight up. That was the moment that you're always going to look back on and it's like, wow, this is the reason I did all this. This is why I worked my ass off.
I would say Notre Dame 2016.
Yeah.
That was my favorite game because, yes, we won by 3, but it just got to that point where we're like, wow, this is what it's supposed to feel like. Because we've been losing the last seasons. We lost. We went 6-6 my junior year, 6-6 my sophomore year. Freshman year, we should have been a lot better than we were. We were 8-4, losing to UCLA. But I would say that game, it kind of felt like, hey, this is what we're supposed to be doing the whole time.
Yeah.
We had one more game going into the AC championship. We was UVA, and we knew we was going to smack them.
Yeah.
So we got an opportunity to go to the AC championship, and we didn't get that opportunity my first 3 years. But we only heard about it. Heard about those great teams that got the opportunity to play in that game. And I think that game right there, after we won that, I was like, man, this is what it's supposed to feel like. This is what college football is supposed to be about. So.
And interestingly enough, that ACC championship game, you only lost to Clemson by 1 score. Virginia Tech was in that game the entire game.
We were 2 plays away, man. And I'll never forget those plays to this day. So
that was a heartbreaker. I was in It was called Frank's then over at it's McLean's now. I was just heartbroken. Everyone was just crowded around the bar watching. We thought we were about to pull it off, but then I was like, you know what? What a hell of a year. To come out. 2016 was a great year. Yeah. But man, if we would have pulled that off, that would have been crazy.
You can't forget about the end, the bowl game, the last game of the year, man. That was just perfect ending right there.
So I want to ask you, I actually just thought about that right before you said it. What the hell did you guys talk about in the locker room? Because you were down 28-0.
Yeah.
I said to Pete Morris, I was in the press box. I said to Pete Morris, I said, we got him right where we want him, Pete. And he looked at me like I was the dumbest thing on two legs. And I was like, we got him. It'll be okay. And I walked past him. I said, told you so. And he just laughed at me, gave me a high five. Like, it was all good. But what the fuck did you guys say to each other in that locker room, man?
It was
after halftime.
Honestly, it was Sam Rogers, man. Sam Rogers is the guy that, everybody loves Sam, but this is the time I can truly say we leaned on him, bro. Like, we was in the locker room. Everybody was kind of like, what the heck just happened, man? They just hit us in the mouth. We did all that practicing this week, all that preparing for this team. We didn't see that coming. And that was a big thing that Sam said is like one play at a time. Let's get out there and try to get 7. Let's go out there and try to get 14. Next thing you know, you're back in the game.
Yeah.
And we kind of took that mentality like, all right, let's score 7 first. Let's focus on getting 7. We had the ball first. Yeah. And quite honestly, I knew we were going to get to 14. But I wasn't expecting us defense to do what they did, because I knew. I'm talking the third quarter. Gerard Evans, man, he just turned it on. When that kid goes, it's a wrap. So I would say Sam Rogers was a big help in there, man. Even me being a leader, I'm sitting there like, what is going on? Like nothing's happening. We're not clicking. But he got us up, man. He got us up and got us ready. He dapped everybody up, walking out the tunnel. He's right there, like, let's go, dapping the whole team up. He's the last one to leave the locker room. So I would say that guy definitely got us ready for that second half.
Yeah, that game was a lot like back in the day where it was us against NC State, and we were down, I think like 24, something insane, and there was just this huge comeback in the second half, and that's what it felt like to me. It was like we've in a lot of ways we tend to be a second half team. That's just the way it's always felt. But man, that was incredible.
Yeah, man, it was the way to go out, man. I was kind of getting down in the second half. I was like, man, we're gonna go out like this. This is my last game, as a Virginia Tech Hokie. But we ended up winning, and it was a great game, great memories.
Yeah.
All right, I got a question for John, and I'm gonna ask you. Don't bullshit me, okay? Don't.
Okay.
Like,
right, what's up?
Be straight with me. You're not playing anymore. Like, you don't have to man up or anything like that. Ever go into a game knowing we're gonna get the shit kicked out of us in this game? Well, high school, college, it doesn't matter. But you ever walk onto the field going, there ain't no way we're gonna even keep this thing close?
As a team, no. But as my performance, I would say there's been many times. Well, there's been really 2 times. My first one was Anthony Barr. He was about to get drafted. I was a little nervous. I was like, it was my freshman year, I'm like, wow, he's gonna be a tough one. And then my sophomore year when we played Ohio State versus Joey Bosa, I was like, yo, this kid is gonna be tough. That's the only time I've went into games like it's gonna be a tough one. And for anybody out there, do not go back and watch that game. I did not have my best game, but we won the game, so that's all that matters. That kid was a load, man. He was a lot. So I really never went into a game thinking we're going to lose or thinking that the other team was better than us. Like, even when my freshman year playing Alabama, like I felt like we had a chance. And luckily, I've been on teams where we've always had a chance. We've never been terrible. So I've never really had that feeling.
Okay, that's fair.
I could tell you the Ohio State game is one of my fondest memories of watching a away game. I was actually partying with my brother in Johnson City. I was at the Holy Taco just getting slammed drunk.
There you go.
That was wild. Like that was like a legendary moment in Hokie sports history.
Absolutely.
You all pulling that off was just so fucking cool.
Man, I'll tell you, before the game, we're warming up and everybody's hyped. We see LeBron on the sideline. I mean, he's huge, and I'm like, and somebody screams out, "F LeBron!" We don't care about LeBron. And then me and Augie is sitting there like, oh, that's kind of cool, man. That's LeBron James. we were like this close to him. We're like, did you see LeBron? Yeah. Me and him the whole time like, yo, did you see LeBron? That's kind of crazy. But yeah, man, it was exciting. It was the loudest game I think I've ever played in. I'm like pretty sure that's the loudest stadium I've ever been in.
Really?
That place was insane. And we could not hear anything. Like, I had to go up to Brewer and ask him what the play was.
Really?
He's yelling the play, and he was hoarse the next day because he had to yell the whole time. The horseshoe was insane. Crazy atmosphere, man. And like
I've heard mixed reviews on the horseshoe. That actually surprises me.
Yeah,
that it was that loud.
That game was different, man. When we're pulling up, we just see a sea of red. Like, I'm like, me thinking in my head as a college football fan, I'm like, I gotta come back here to get this atmosphere to see. And my parents said they went to a couple of restaurants and stuff, and it was packed. So us going to the game, I'm sitting there looking like this is college football. We have the same atmosphere too. A lot of people say that about our stadium as well, but you go to some stadiums like Boston College, Duke, you don't get that same experience.
Yeah.
So I would say that was probably the loudest stadium I've ever been in.
Which stadium is more dead, Boston College or Miami?
Boston College.
Really?
Boston College.
Wow.
It's brutal. Boston College is, especially at a 12 o'clock game on a Saturday, it's brutal, man. Getting up early, having to do meetings, and then the atmosphere is not going to be great. It's terrible.
Well, and Boston College is consistently bad. Miami, at least if there's not a Pitbull concert that night, they'll actually maybe show up. They'll make that 45-minute bus ride to Coral Gables to watch the game. So Miami's hit or miss. It was after you graduated, John, maybe a couple years after. Hokies went down to Miami and played, and that atmosphere was pretty wild. But yeah, I know what Jeremy's saying. Like, sometimes Miami can be just an absolute crap show, especially if the team's not doing well.
Yeah, we used to we played Miami in like October, November, so we all loved it because it was warm weather. It was so cold in Blacksburg, and we get to Miami. It's kind of like feel like vacation a little bit, getting off that plane. So we all enjoyed it. We all enjoyed it.
Yeah, I can see that. And then you're rolling up to Boston College, and it's frigid and terrible.
I will say, though, Boston College had to get the New England clam chowder on a Friday night. That's nothing like it. Nothing like it, man. The hotel we stayed in every year had the best New England clam chowder. And there was one year they didn't have it. They didn't have it. One year they didn't have it, and the whole team was pissed. Like Andrew Miller went to the managers asking him, bring out the clam chowder. We need it, But it was that good. It was that good, man.
What's the name of this hotel? I have to know now.
I don't even know, man. I don't even know what hotel it was. It had to be it was a hike away from the stadium. I do remember that. But I cannot think of the hotel. But the New England clam chowder was amazing.
Wow. Okay, now I'm going to have to go on a clam chowder tour around Boston, go to all the hotels. And it's going to end up being some hotel I would never suspect. It's going to be like the Red Roof Inn clam chowder.
Right, yeah. Yeah,
exactly. I mean, we stayed in some pretty nice hotels. We definitely wasn't in the Red Roof Inn, but that's the only good thing about going to Boston.
So, John, I have a question for you. And, I know when I was in college, I got myself into a little bit of trouble. I'm sure Jeremy did multiple times also. John, did you get in trouble in college?
I did not, man. I did not. I was the guy that's trying to keep everybody from getting in trouble. I would say that. But we definitely went out. I will say we had our fair share of going out and stuff, but we had a good group. We had a really good group that nobody was acting like dummies and doing crazy stuff. I've never been in trouble, never had to do a 6 a.m. run or anything like that. So I'm proud to say I kept my nose clean there.
I never played football in college, but I had to do 6 a.m. runs, so I don't.
There you go.
I was doing something wrong, obviously.
There you go. But yeah, like I said, we had a good group, man. Everybody stayed out the way and wasn't fighting or anything like that. So
good, John. What is your go-to what do you do now for game days? Now that the preseason show isn't there, what are you going to do for game days now?
Man, I don't know, man. I might just call Paul on the phone. We just might have to get our own preseason show going, you know?
We can do that. We can do that. Yeah, I'm down.
I would love that. I need something to do.
Man.
But better, I'm going to Tina and Frank's tailgate. Shout out Penelope. Shout out Penelope right now. We hope you're doing good.
Yeah. Frank,
for those
that don't...
go ahead. Sorry.
I was going to say, for those that don't know, Frank and Tina's dog, Penelope, had a little issue today. Had to go in and have surgery, emergency surgery. She's out of surgery now, but they're monitoring her right now. That's like their kid. Actually, it's more Penelope's more important than their kid. If you rank them, it's Penelope and then a whole bunch of space and then Reggie somewhere down here. Jeremy might have it flip-flop, but he loves himself some Reggie.
I do love my Reggie, but I got Penelope over Reggie.
That's true.
Penelope shows me far more affection than Reggie. Then again,
true.
I love Reggie because he shows me no affection.
They both bark the same amount, though, so they got that going for them. They got that going for them.
Gotcha. But yeah,
they do.
Before games, man. I mean, I haven't been to a game. I want to say since 2022. So the alumni is doing a great job. Well, sorry, Pride and his staff are doing a great job with the alumni.
Good.
So I do plan on going on to I think it's a game. Might be Boston College where they have like tailgates, alumni tailgates, and all that good stuff. So that's probably my new plan is to do that. I try to hit some tailgates, some fans. I just walk around and see who wants to, give me free food. But
there you go.
But yeah, that's probably what I do this year is try to find out the alumni game and then go to that one and go to those pre games they got for the alumni football team.
Nice.
Good.
Nice.
Yeah,
John,
I'm glad that they're doing that more with the alums because I know that was always kind of an issue there for a while was we needed more alumni outreach and we need to get everyone in town, like get everyone together because, I mean, coming back to these things, it should be an entire victory lap for everybody coming into town. That's what it needs to be.
Man, there was one spring game. I wasn't playing. I think it was maybe 2018. So a couple players go down. I got, my badge and everything to go on the sideline. But Bruce Smith didn't have his, and they would not let Bruce Smith in. Can you believe that? And I'm like,
are you serious?
I'm like, here, take mine. I don't have to go to the sideline. You are the legend. And I'm really cool with his son, Austin Smith. That's one of my good friends. So I know the family very well. And I'm like, you're not gonna let Bruce Smith in right now? Like, come on. And he's like, I know who you are. But, security is really tight. I'm like, hey guys, this guy built this program. Don't do this to him. Let this man in. So yeah, it used to be tough, man. I will say it was a lot harder to get tickets and communication wasn't that great, but they're stepping it up, man. They're doing, we get emails, they have Zoom calls, so they're really keeping us informed, and that's great because a lot of guys, stepped away from the program and didn't go to games because of that. So to see that, it takes a village, and I think Pride understands that.
It does.
John,
I'm laughing at the entire Bruce Smith thing because I keep thinking back to Ted Lasso whenever they wouldn't let Roy Kent into the stadium because he didn't have a ticket. I'm Roy Kent. I could see an entire Bruce Smith
I was like,
do not know who this man is. Of course, Bruce wouldn't be the one to raise an entire stink over it, but I could see everyone around them being like, "Are you serious right now?"
I gave him mine. I was like, "Huh, you can't. You come on, man." And the guy finally let him in. I'm like, "What is going on around here?" So things have changed, though. Things have definitely changed.
That is crazy.
Excellent,
John. How long would it take you to be able to strap it back on and go?
I need a good year, honestly. Bro, I gotta gain some weight, man. No, if somebody called me today, I was thinking about this. I'm way too light right now. I was about 320 when I played. I'm at like 280 somewhere in there. Not enough to play offensive line. I will say that. I could probably do a college right at my age, being 30.
Yeah.
But if I got a call from the league, it would probably take me a year.
What about if you had to play fullback? You can play fullback, right?
Not even fullback, man. I don't.
What?
I barely lift.
Man.
No, I'm telling you, I don't even really lift like that anymore, man. I'm straight cardio running.
Therefore, you could do fullback. I don't know who could tackle you.
I guess
you get a good head of steam. Who's going to tackle you?
Hey, nobody's stepping in front of you going, I'm going to fill this hole.
You never know though. There's some guys that can lay the wood, man. So I wouldn't I would give myself a year, I would say, to get back in football shape.
You mentioned guys that could lay the wood. Who was the dude when you were playing, or maybe it's multiple guys because you've got that cycle of players that come and go. Who was the guy that nobody wanted to? They're like, no, I'm not going up against John McLaughlin. He doesn't have an off button. He's just gonna drive me into the ground. Who is that guy?
And it's gonna surprise a lot of people, but Corey Marshall. I don't know if people remember Corey Marshall. He played D tackle. He was number 96, I believe.
Yeah.
Man, so he didn't do a lot on the field on game day, but in practice, that mug was hard to handle.
Really?
Man, I'm telling you. Like, and he really didn't talk to the offense at all. So everybody kind of knew, don't mess with Corey.
Really?
Yes. I would say Corey Marshall is one of those guys that you knew not to mess with. That's the first person that comes to mind.
An Edmonds or something like that.
Well, it's football-wise, there's a lot of guys that can hit. I would say Kashawn Garrett's probably the biggest hitter that I've seen in the game. But when it came to practice and camp and having to see this guy every day, Corey Marshall was hard to handle, man.
All right.
Oh, he was that dick in practice that hit too hard and wouldn't take any plays off.
But nobody's gonna say nothing to him though. It was you let him do his thing. Nobody's gonna say anything to him. So,
dude, we are not even fully dressed out.
Yeah, right.
Relax.
He's that type of guy. He's that type of guy. But you let him do
I got
his thing.
shorts and a helmet. Why are you clubbing my ass?
But you let him do his thing, and you go to the next play. That's all you do.
Okay.
He cut me with a rock. Like one of those guys.
We had a couple guys on the offensive line like that. I would say Andrew Miller was definitely one too, man. If you were on the defensive side of the ball, you would probably say Andrew Miller, just because he was just a guy, though. Nobody messed with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who was the lovable person that you didn't want anyone messing with? Who was the most loved person on the team besides yourself, John? Of course.
Yeah.
For me, I would say Wyatt Teller. That's like my brother. No, I mean nobody really messed with Wyatt, but the most caring guy ever. Like what you saw on the field on Saturdays from Wyatt, you didn't see that in practice because he didn't want to hurt his teammates, and he really meant that. Like he could hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And he turns it on game day. It's like day and night, man. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen. But I would say the most caring guy on my team was Wyatt Teller.
That's excellent.
Yeah.
Hey, you need people to play certain roles. You need that dick that goes super hard at practice.
Yeah.
And you need your Wyatt Tellers that everyone loves and cares about, and they care about their team in turn. You need leaders like that.
Absolutely.
And
man.
you also need people to keep you on your toes. Otherwise, you're going to take too many plays off during practice.
Absolutely. I got two. Eric Gallo's another one, too. Eric Gallo's my guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say Wyatt and Eric.
Okay. So I got a question for the two of you, and I can answer this too if you want. But you all have been Hokie fans your entire life. I just came into this thing in 2016, so I want to know 3 teams in the ACC. And you've already kind of both touched on this a little bit. 3 teams you hate the most in the ACC.
Oh,
I'll go first.
All right.
I'll start with UNC. I cannot stand the Tar Heels.
Okay. Is that number 3?
That's number 1. I'm starting.
That's number 1. Whoa. Okay.
They're number 1.
Okay. There's no drama left for John. He's just going right to the top.
Yeah.
UNC. This is where we're at. Piss on you guys.
Because it's just, man, how they carry themselves. They think they're hot stuff.
Yeah. And they're never actually.
Yeah. So, I worked a Kevin Jones camp one year. And we just came off a loss to UNC, I want to say 2013, I think. And all the guys are like, how do y'all lose to UNC? They didn't care about no other game, but UNC. They're like, you do not lose to UNC. And I was like, you know what? I agree. That's a basketball school, man. We should not be losing to those clowns. But we end up losing, I think, Beamer's last game, which was a crazy one, by like a touchdown or something. But UNC is number 1. UVA is number 2. Obviously,
Okay.
That's obvious there. And then, so I didn't play Clemson a lot, so I'm going to say Miami.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah.
Jared?
See, this is so hard for me because I fucking hate everyone. If we're playing someone, I hate them.
Chris, he had his answer ready like before anyone. Florida State, Miami, UVA. So
yeah,
that's Chris jumped on that thing.
See, I think it's really the only other fan base that I don't straight up hate most of the time is NC State, because I see a lot of our fans in NC State fans. Like, I get that. But no, if I've got to pick straight up fucking hatred, I hate UVA. I hate their fans. I hate everything about them.
So
I also hate UNC. Yeah, I'd have to say UVA's number 1, but it's also one of those weird things where it seems cheap to put them at number 1, because hating UVA is like,
that's a given.
Hating going to the dentist or something. It's it's like, okay, clearly. But besides UVA, if I'm putting that off, I've got to go with Miami, because fuck Miami in every single way.
Okay.
I've got to go with, I'm going to have to follow that up with UNC. I hate them, especially in recent years. It's been one of those things where you don't want to lose to UNC. They don't deserve half of the things that they get. They don't deserve the praise they get. Their program is absolute garbage. Their culture's garbage. Their stadium's garbage. Their fans are garbage.
Yep.
I think they're garbage. I don't like UNC. And to follow that up, Clemson is going to be my number 3. I hate, and everyone knows I hate Clemson with a passion. I hate UVA and UNC more than I hate Clemson. Clemson, the thing is I'm okay with most Clemson fans. I'm okay with a lot of things. I think their run-in is lame as shit, and they try to act like it's so good. Oh, we're riding the bus because we didn't design our stadium really well. We're going to run down this hill. Shut the fuck up. Like that's this big grand entrance riding your goddamn bus. Fuck them. No, don't like Clemson. I hate Dabo. That's the biggest thing. I despise Dabo. I hate him. He is like a televangelist, like that level of just like awful. I do not like him. Don't like Dabo, so I really, really hate Clemson, but nothing gets worse to me than UVA or UNC, because they grate on me even more than Clemson. And I'll go on about Clemson forever for a lot of reasons, but yeah, That's it. That's my 3.
What about you, Paul? Okay. I'm interested. What you got?
Ooh, all right. So I have, there's been a lot of teams that I haven't even seen in Blacksburg yet. Clemson being one of them. I do not have UVA in my top 3, and I'll tell you why. Because they are so irrelevant when it comes to playing football, with the exception of the one year that they accidentally beat Virginia Tech, right? They are completely irrelevant. So it's almost like, I hate to use this analogy, but it's almost like hating the special needs kid on your bus. Like, you can't do that. Like, they're harmless. There is nothing to them to really, truly hate, other than the fact that it is just the in-state rivalry. So I'm nothing UVA. And I've said that before many times. They don't even move the needle for me. I do not get excited for the UVA game, because for the most part, I know Virginia Tech's just going to kick the living shit out of them. I would have to say,
Paul, I think you're being a little ableist there, because special needs kids can be complete fucking dicks too. It's okay if they're being mean to be like, I don't like that kid.
No, you still can't hate them. You still can't hate them. No, I don't.
I know what you mean, Paul. I know what you mean.
There's UVA as a football program is arguably the most irrelevant football program in the nation. And if you want to come at me and tell me that that's not true, I'll be glad to listen to you, but you'll be wrong. So they're just irrelevant. For me, I think number 3 is Miami. Number 2 for me is Syracuse, because we struggle so bad in the Carrier Dome.
I hate the Carrier Dome,
and it's just like, oh man, like, we're gonna go to Carrier Dome and we're gonna play in an environment that sucks, and we're gonna struggle, and this fucking sucks, and I hate it. And to me, number 1 is Pitt. fuck Pat Narduzzi.
Oh man,
that dude is a bitch.
Yeah.
I hate Pitt.
I agree with that. That's probably number 4 for me, honestly. Pitt
Yeah,
is,
I despise Pitt.
man,
but it's
Narduzzi is the biggest crybaby in the world.
Oh God, it's horrible. It's so bad that it's funny, John. It's like you watch him on the sideline and you're like, does no one see what a clown show this dude really truly is? Like,
that's the best word.
He's throwing headsets and he's stomping. He's like a toddler, man. He's like a toddler with a headset.
For sure. Yeah.
It's interesting watching him and Prime go back and forth. Like, that is a weird, like, kind of hatred that's brewing there.
Right.
Because, I don't think Prime's really all that great of a coach, but Narduzzi, as crappy as he is, I think he's an all right coach. He's just, a shit person. So it's interesting to watch them squawk back and forth.
I have not seen that. I guess I'm going to have to get on Twitter more often.
Yeah, Prime, he thanked Narduzzi for developing these kids for us. He does a really good job. Like, It's like they're squawking back and forth. It's interesting.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right. Huh. I always like to
that's a fun one.
You know what is funny to me, though? And I think that this kind of goes to show, like, how far removed we are. None of the three of us mentioned West Virginia.
Yeah, I didn't play them. I don't really get that rivalry. I didn't get a chance to play them. I get the rivalry. Don't get me wrong, but I can't put them in my top 3 because I never got the experience to play them. But
they played at FedEx Field the year after you graduated, right? They played that in 2017. Yeah,
correct.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you right now that the new West Virginia and their fans are far different than the West Virginia of when I went to school.
Yeah,
those fans were vicious. They were vicious fans. But now, like, even when we went up and played West Virginia in Maryland to open the season, their fans there, they weren't all that bad. I mean, they were causing some shit, but they weren't that bad. I don't know if it's just us remembering things, and maybe through the years we remember it as being way more extreme than it was back then. But I mean, I used to hate West Virginia, and now it's like, okay, I want to play them more because this is fun.
Yeah, we kind of lost that rivalry. I would say if you ask somebody from West Virginia, they probably wouldn't even mention us because they have Pitt and they got other players, other people that they're focused on. I do wish we played them though, or we kept that rivalry going on because from what I heard from previous players, they said they was even bigger than UVA. So
I've had nothing but good interaction with West Virginia fans, but again, FedEx Field here in Blacksburg are my only 2 real interactions with them. And honestly, the game here in Blacksburg, other than them playing the song that I don't even remember what it's called now, that they play all the time over the jukebox, and me trying to explain to them that it's about Southwest Virginia, not West Virginia. And
Country roads,
Yeah. I wasn't going to bring it up. But, they other than that, like, I had really good interactions with their fan bases for the most part throughout my tenure when I was on the radio. So I don't really have an issue with West Virginia, but I understand where, like, a lot of the more seasoned fans, even more seasoned maybe than Jeremy, get that whole West Virginia hatred. So,
man, I'm seasoned all to shit. And I'm going to tell you right now that the West Virginia fans are way more cultured and fun than any fucking Kentucky fan ever expected to be. Fuck Kentucky fans. I hate Kentucky fans.
Wow.
I will never forget how shitty their fans were.
Was that all related to the Belk Bowl?
Yes. That and just growing up near Kentucky.
So, Jeremy, have you been going to games your whole life?
Especially since college, it's rare for me to miss a game. I had to miss all last year because my daughter was born. But besides
that, Ryan counts.
So what is your favorite game, you would say, that you've been in as a
favorite game? Oh, man.
Or the loudest, the more exciting?
Whenever the Miami game that always gets brought up.
2011?
Yes, that one was excellent. One of my favorites on top of that was actually, it wasn't even a home game. It was going up and playing against West Virginia up at FedEx because it was a good environment. My friend Donovan is a pulmonologist, and he went to West Virginia Medical School. And he got us tickets over at the West Virginia sideline that was like front row seat. So we were right in the middle of West Virginia fans. And me and Emily had been dating for a few years. Marnie, my friend, he came up with us. We went up to DC. We all went out, and that was one of my favorite games ever. I thought the West Virginia fans were pretty fun, and it felt like, we're there, we're back. This is awesome. Like it was a really fun environment. So I'd have to say that's one of my favorites, even if it's not like some big crowning achievement moment. That was just a really fun time for me because I was with my friends going up, having a trip, and it was just a good time for me.
Love it. I like to ask fans because that 2011 Miami game gets brought up a lot, and I sat there and watched it on TV, and it was incredible, man. It was incredible. That kind of made me think I want to play there one day,
Yeah. See, that's back in the day. They didn't drop Sandman all that often toward the end of games whenever they dropped it, that was a big deal.
Yeah.
So it was like, oh shit, everyone didn't know what to do. And so they just jumped because it's ingrained in us. So that was a really cool moment. It feels almost cheap to use that as a moment. That's why I had my, follow up that something that meant a little more, but that was just one of those really cool moments where it's like, did they really fucking do that? Yeah. And so, we win. That was a really good game.
Cool, man.
Was it 2 years ago, the band decided to play Stick It In during the game? And that was one of those moments where, again, sitting in the press box, like you could see I did the same thing. It was like, wait a minute. I know this song. Oh, shit. Okay, we're doing this. And it took everybody a minute to figure out what was going on. By the time I think everybody realized what was going on, it was done. But it was one of those things where it's just like, we're doing this right now. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'd see that. It was hilarious because the kids didn't know what was happening, but you'd see the old shits like me being like, "It's Stick It In! It's Stick It In!" And they're just looking. That was a really good moment. They brought it out against UNC, and I really think that if we really, really push forward with this season and we really get back on top, if we don't bring back Stick It In, that's a problem. I don't give a shit what our donors say. I don't give a shit what anyone says. We have to bring back Stick It In. We brought back the old jerseys. We brought back anything. We got to have Stick It In back.
Beluso's right. It was 2019. It was the 6 overtime game against UNC. That's exactly when it was.
Yep.
Now that he said that, I remember that now. I just remember, we were all like, it was one of those moments where your brain goes, wait, I know this song.
That's awesome.
We're not supposed to be, holy shit, it's Stick It In.
Actually, now that I think about it, that run of UNC games in the stadium, we had the 6 overtime, and we also had coming back from when they were ranked in the top 10, coming back from COVID. Those were some incredible games.
I was at that game. Yeah, that was a great game, man.
And it meant so much. Everyone, I had to help pull the fence down so that the drunk kids wouldn't impale themselves on the iron fence. I had to help move these barriers because we were just letting people in at some point. I don't know why our security decided to do that, but everyone, we couldn't handle the overflow.
It was still outside the fence going.
So you'll never have an environment quite like that before because that stadium was way over capacity.
Absolutely.
So that's why those shots look incredible. If we didn't have those shitty ACC network cameras, we would have had some really good shots. But that's why they look so insane, is because there weren't enough seats for all the people there.
Yeah. My favorite part of that game, though, we beat UNC. And Coach Searles was there. He's my old offensive line coach. He did not want to come out the locker room to see me and Augie. He obviously wanted to see us, but we were kind of chirping a little bit before the game. And then it took him a long time to come out. And I called him. I was like, "You coming out? Come on out. Come on out." So that was definitely a highlight of that game. Getting to see him, man. And he was at Miami my senior year, and we beat them pretty bad on a Thursday night game. 2016. So I got to see him after that game too. I'm like, we were starting a little tradition here, man. I like it. Now he's at Georgia, so I can't say anything to him. So
it's hard to shit talk the Georgia people.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That's fair. That's fair. So
John, you can still try.
before we wrap this thing up today, what are you doing now? Like, what is a day in the life of John McLaughlin look like?
Yeah, so I'm a project manager now. Actually, for a smaller company. It's an architect design company, and I work from home. So I'm enjoying life, man. I would say that. That's kind of what I'm doing now.
You got married recently, didn't you?
Yes, sir. Got married last year. Last year in May. Just bought a house. So yeah, man.
Congrats.
Thank you. Appreciate it. So yeah, looking forward to this season though, man. I didn't get to go to the games last year, but I'm definitely trying to go to a couple this year.
Yeah,
I like it. Well, we're gonna try. We haven't broached the subject with them yet, but I'm gonna start a group text with me and Jeremy and Ollie and Ish from Hokie House. We're gonna try to do a couple of live shows like this from Hokie House this year. So awesome. I'm gonna make sure you get the invite. You just let's do it this way. You shoot me a text and let me know what games you're coming to. And we'll try to coordinate one of those games to get you on and for us to do this thing live again one more time.
Absolutely, man. Is Mike McDaniel too famous for us now? Or
Mike McDaniel is a big fucking deal in the world of Sports Illustrated and babysitting. Mike McDaniel, yeah. Mike is doing the same thing you're doing, except he's got a baby involved. And so, he works from home, but then he's also, burping and, it's
understood.
He's got his hands full.
Heard that.
I understand that. Hey, it's doable. But my little one will be coming to the pregame show and saying hello.
Nice. That's what I like to hear. John, are you and Lou still doing a podcast? I know you guys were doing one for a while. Are you guys still doing that?
I think so. We haven't really talked about it this year. Luther also has 2 kids, so keeping up with that stuff, man, it's a lot. Hopefully we'll get it rolling. We might try to do a couple of episodes this year, but it's a lot going on right now, man. People getting busy, work, and I just bought a house, so it's like, we got a lot of stuff going on. Just got married, so hopefully we can get it going, but we'll have to see.
Yeah,
like it.
Well, John, we are going to put you on our friends of the podcast list. We're trying to create an environment where we've got our people, and if you all want to pop in on any podcast, we actually want people to pop in and start surprising us mid-podcast, because we're trying to create a bar environment where we all just get together once or once a week or once every 2 weeks, once a week probably during football season, where everyone just pops in, says hello, hangs out for a few minutes, has a drink, that sort of thing. We're really trying to do that. So you're definitely going to be on the friends of the podcast list to come in whenever you want. Come in, just say what you're doing, say what you're feeling. That's what we want.
Absolutely.
And John, just for the people that didn't see the back end stuff, will you explain to Jeremy how you spell your last name so he can get it right next time?
I got you.
I
always screw something up on the graphics every single week, and I got to go back and fix it.
McLaughlin. There's no G with the C.
I know for some reason I was putting G in my brain. And I was like, McLaughlin.
It's all good. That's how people.
And then I went back and I was so concerned with like the A and the U and everything. I was so concerned with that I didn't even check with the G and the C. So yeah, that's my bad.
I thought it was Paul. I was giving him crap about it. I thought it was Paul, but all good. Either way, you know who I am. So.
Yeah. Hey, you're very welcome to give me any kind of shit you need to.
Just for the record, in my phone, I got it. McGlocklin.
That's different.
I got you as the Irish version of the gun company.
McLaughlin.
That's how some people pronounce it, though. So I'm used to it at this point.
It's Jonathan McLaughlin.
But yeah, man, y'all keep doing this though, man. I enjoyed it. I'm definitely down this season. Hopefully, when we're 4-0, we'll try to get back together before that Miami game.
Yeah, man.
Real quick. Did you and Lou play together? Was he on the team
yes.
when you were there?
How
was he in practice? Because Lou seems to me like he's a dude that doesn't fuck around. Like he comes at you.
So,
I didn't want to call him out, but he was actually the worst. He would stick fingers where they shouldn't be. He was really, really handsy. But it's all uncomfortable.
Nobody, I would say nobody was played dirty,
Right.
But the reason why my offensive line was halfway decent, I would say, my freshman, sophomore, junior year, is because our D line was so good. Our D line was stacked, man. Like this is what I had to go against my freshman year. All right, first team, you got James Gale, you got Hopkins, Derek Hopkins, Luther Matty, and then J.R. Collins. Okay. And then they're like, "Oh, we'll get the backups in. The second string is Daddy Nicholas, Woody Barron, Michael Williams," and you're just like, this is really not second string. Kenny Canham is on the other side, so it's like our defensive line has always been great, man. And Luther was definitely one of those guys that's just like he was a vet, so he was hard to handle, man. Hard to handle in practice. His senior year, I don't know if he practiced that much because of injuries, but. He was a beast. Luther was definitely a beast, man. Yeah.
I love it.
Well, we're coming to our end. John, stick around after we end the feed. We got to do our audio upload and we do a debrief and everything. But
right, cool.
Everyone, thank you all for joining us. I'm sorry we had the technical difficulties and I only got to stream through 4 different ports instead of like my usual 8. But I appreciate all of y'all for tuning in. You're wonderful, and I both love and hate you all at the same time. This has been Blacksburg on the Rocks. Yeah.